Yeah, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. All praises to Yahweh, Baruch Shem Yahweh Shai, Baruch Shem Kadosh. Today we will read in chapter 9, the book of Isaiah. Or continue in the book of Isaiah, chapter 9, like we was stopping there. Like in my notes, we stopped at chapter 9, so I would read from chapter 9. Nevertheless, the dimness shall not be such as was in her vexation when at the first he lightly afflicted the land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali, and afterward did more grievously afflict her by the way of the sea beyond Jordan. In Galilee of the nations, the people that walked in darkness have seen a great light. They that dwell in the land of the shadow of death, upon them had the light shined. Thou hast multiplied the nation and not increased the joy. They joy before thee according to the joy in harvest, and as men rejoice when they divide the spoil. For thou hast broken the yoke of his burden and the staff of his shoulder, the rod of his oppressor, as in the day of Midian. For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments walled in blood, but this shall be with burning and full of fire. Yeah, which, for example, Edom, or Amalek, and even the how can I say? Yeah, the Hitler Youth, okay, as a lack of terms. Everybody is prideful, and basically the only way to make them understand that, this glory, for example, 70 AD, okay, 1948, which they took our land in 1948, which in 70 AD they destroyed the temple, our temple, and we fled out of Israel. So you have maybe two factors in general, okay, where the Sidons are even today still proud about it, like history, like there's no future, okay, there's no basically there's a lot to come, okay, but they believe since they destroyed Israel, Israel will be destroyed forever. There's no hope, there's no help whatsoever, okay. And the opposite obviously takes place, because, okay, think about it, the only reason why the so-called elites, okay, in their predictive programming and so on, okay, they know that a third world war is soon to come, okay, so that's why they show you that in certain movies, even like 10 or 20 or 30 years ago, okay, they showed you things like that. So what these heathens believe, okay, like they can just continue, okay, to rule, which we saw basically, okay, what happens if you have basically Satan ruling over you, okay, which is the nation of Edom, which is the physical counterpart of Satan, okay. Yeah. So this is verse 6. For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given. Yeah, they persecuted Yahushai when he was not even born yet. Okay, like you had a a star in the heavens, okay. Then you had basically already a persecution going on, okay. Like he was not even born in that moment. They tried to kill him, okay. Basically, they tried to kill him or tried to kill him, okay, when he is about to be born, okay. But they couldn't do it, okay. That shows that whatever happens, okay, there's still protection, there's still protection, okay, for the Lord's men, okay, not for everybody, okay, or the Lord's woman, you can say also, or let's just say God's children, right, in general. Like these people sooner or later will see, okay, what protection really means, okay, because this is already a jungle, okay, but this jungle will basically escalate into a dirt jungle, if you will, okay. If you ask people who survived a war in their country, okay, but this next war is not just any not just any war, okay, it's a global war, okay. It's not a violent conflict between two countries, no. It's a global world war, just like World War One, World War Two, okay, which the scripture calls, the Apocrypha, gives you the information that the Bible already is talking about, okay, the third World War, okay, the second woe, the first woe, okay. So the first woe, which woe, the word W-O-E means destruction. So what would be mass destruction? Okay, it would be if we talk about one thing and two things, we talk about the First World War and the Second World War. Okay. So you have the Mossad. Okay, you have the Hitler Youth right now as we speak. Okay, you have the 1948ers. In the background. Okay, these are your banking families. Okay, banking families. Okay, Rothschilds. And so on and such and such. Okay. So the third woe, like the script, okay, the official verses, okay, the first woe is past, the second woe is past, and the third woe cometh quickly, which means the third world war comes quickly, which you see it already, okay. It's not too much of a mystery, okay. That's not too much of a mystery that this will all end in a third world war. Okay, so what we're waiting for? We're waiting for the MOTB, which is the mark of the animal, to be implemented. Okay, which means everybody has to receive the chip in his head or in his hand, which it doesn't matter where you receive the CHIP. Okay, it matters if you make a cutting in your flesh. Okay, the cutting in your flesh means you let somebody implant an electronic device inside of you. Okay, doesn't matter if it's the left or the right hand. Okay, which is, according to the Bible, the mark of the BEAST. Okay, of the beast. You see, so the Third World War, okay, which you can witness that, the Third World War will not escalate until the MOTB, okay, the mark of the BEST is implemented, okay. So that is actually further proof that that the Bible has the truth, okay. Because some people would argue, yes, you know, the Third World War breaks out tomorrow. No, that can't be. The Third World War will break out after the MOTB is implemented. Okay, to a law, for example. Can't buy or sell without a CHIP in your hand or in general in your body. Okay, can't buy or sell, which leads to maybe you can't even work. You can't even if you have a driver's license, you can't even drive. Maybe depends on, you know. There are a lot of aspects in all these things, but yeah, that's why Yahweh Hashem Yahushai is judging nations, okay? Because if you go too much into details, then even in Israel you had righteous Israelites keeping the law all the time, okay? But that's not so easy, you know. That's not so easy, okay? Because we have the Bible actually giving you the information also that you will have, out of every nation on this planet, you will have righteous people with palm trees in their hands, okay? Out of every nation, okay? Every nation, okay? Which there's always somebody righteous in those, somebody, at least somebody righteous in every country, okay? It's not the most people, okay? If you look at the number 144,000, okay, compared to world's population, okay, then you have the same number in that country, okay, in that heathen country, okay, of righteous people, okay? That's the same basically. Yeah. So for us, for unto us, okay, for every those righteous small group of people in every last country in this world, okay, a child is born. Yeah, you know, first to the Jews and then to the Greeks, right? Roughly paraphrasing. You know, you know, you have the 12 tribes, okay, so you have to be from the 12 tribes, of course, you know, but, you know, the Lord, or from verse 6, for unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Of the increase of his government and peace there shall be no end, upon the throne of David and upon his kingdom, to order it and to establish it with judgment and with justice from henceforth even forever. The seal of the Lord of hosts will perform this. The Lord sent a word into Jacob, and it had lighted up Israel. And all the people shall know, even Ephraim and the inhabitant of Samaria, that say in the pride and stoutness of heart, the bricks are fallen down, but we will build the hewn stones, the sycamores, however you say that, are cut down, but we will change them into cedars. Therefore the Lord shall set up the adversaries of Rezin, okay, Rezin, against him, and join his enemies together, the Syrians before and the Philistines behind, or Philistines behind, and they shall devour Israel with open mouth. For all this, his anger is not turned away, but his hand is stretched out still. Yeah, if you type in Google Philistines, how they looked and where they lived, okay, you see that the Philistines was our main enemy also, okay. Yeah, the arch enemy, one of our arch enemies. Okay, the Philistines. If you go even further into, you know, into biblical times, you know, like even before certain things happened. Okay, I don't know, before the Second Temple, you had a lot of you had a lot of yeah, you have a lot of pictures, okay, on how the Philistines looked, okay. Basically, they looked like Africans, if you will, okay. Okay, having a lot of, you know, little bit Hamite looking, okay, the Philistines, okay. Okay, which people don't understand that, you know, the Africans, okay, that we not the Africans, okay, the Israelites come from every nation and every tongue, okay, looking like so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, okay, not Africans, okay, which yeah, you have a lot of tribes in Africa, okay, that go back to Israel, okay, Israelite tribes, if you will. Okay, but that doesn't mean that you don't have, for example, the Egyptians in Africa. Who are the Egyptians? Even you should know that the Egyptians were Hamites. Even you should know that. Okay. So of course, Africa has nothing directly to do with you know, the Israelites. But like the scripture says, don't abhor an Egyptian, don't abhor an Syrian, because he is your brother. Okay, which means, you know, these are not our main enemies, so to speak, if you will. Okay, you would say. I know the media shows, the media gives you the, you know, the media want to make it seem as if, you know, Syrians are such a bad people, you know, always, I don't know, raping women, killing people in the streets. Okay, but this is just one side, and it's not the side that you should trust in, which is the mass deceiving media. Okay. Yeah, so really, there was a lot fighting, a lot judgment happening to Israel even before the Romans, okay, or the Greeks, you know. So the Philistines, like I said, okay, if you go back in history, you see that the Philistines was one of our main enemies, which Amalek, of course, was the first nation who came against us when we left Egypt, okay, when we fled out of Egypt. So Amalek is, of course, the main enemy of the main enemies, okay. Okay, but like you said, if you look closer into history, then you have, after Amalek, the Philistines being a big problem, okay. Especially if you look after Egypt, then you have the Philistines being a main problem. Verse 7, of the increase of his government and peace there shall be no end upon the throne of David and upon his kingdom, to order it, and to establish it with judgment and with justice from henceforth even forever. The seal of the Lord of hosts will perform this. The Lord sent a word into Jacob, and it had lighted up upon Israel. And all the people shall know, even Ephraim and the inhabitant of Samaria, that say in the pride and stoutness of heart, the bricks are fallen down, but we will build the hewn stones. The sycamores are cut down, but we will change them into cedars. Therefore the Lord shall set up the adversaries of Rezin against him, and join his enemies together, the Syrians before and the Philistines behind. And they shall devour Israel with open mouth. For all this his anger is not turned away, but his hand is stretched out still. For the people turn it not unto him that smited them, neither do they seek the Lord of hosts. Therefore the Lord will cut off from Israel head and tail, branch and rush in one day. The ancient and honorable, he is the head, and the prophet that teacheth lies, he is the tail. For the leaders of this people cause them to err, and they that are led of them are destroyed. Yeah, this is not just not just randomly one of the main verses, okay, that especially newer ones in the truth use a lot, okay, or in general it is a lot being used, because let's be honest, the main problem, I just saw one today, are those cheesy Jay-Z preacher Negroes oftentimes, okay, I don't know, African churches, okay. I just saw one today, okay, so-called Negro with a Jesus, okay, Jay-Z cross as a necklace, okay, like a cross, okay, a big golden cross, and yeah, I think his next appointment after I saw him was going to a church, okay, a African church, okay, like we have nothing to do with African church, okay. Let's be honest, the biggest deceiver are the people oftentimes who look like you, okay, trying to let's be honest, even Satan wants to appear as an angel of light, right? So Satan doesn't come to you, okay, like, oh, I want to kill you, I want to draw you in hell, okay, I want to draw you with me into hell. He doesn't come like that. Satan comes to you, okay, for example, to the mass media. Oh, look at the so-called, the Native American Indians, they are just some random people, okay, in Southern America, okay, there's nothing special about them, okay, or the so-called Negroes, nothing special, just the source of humans in general, when it comes to their skin color, when it comes to culture, okay, we had a lot of knowledge, wisdom, okay, look at Egypt, okay, not that we are the Egyptians, but we were the first godly people on earth, Abraham, then Isaac, then Jacob, which you have to be from Abraham, Isaac and Jacob, not just Abraham, Isaac, not just Abraham, okay, for to be part of the 12th tribe, you need to be a part of the 12th tribe, which all those descendants come from Jacob, obviously, okay, but but who is the main enemy? It's Esau, Edom, so-called white man, okay, because he puts these lies in your way, he makes it seem as if all these people that are mentioned are just some random talented people that can basically, that basically do nothing that makes sense, when he is the one trying to starting with the first class of your school, trying to come with his lies, okay, which the first lie is that we come from apes, okay, which there's enough proof already that you can't descend from an ape, okay, which there's enough proof already that the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are the descendants of the Lord's chosen people, starting with the descendants of Jacob, whose name was later changed to Israel, which for you to be a so-called Christian, you need to be a descendant of Jacob, whose name was later changed to Israel. That's why you have the Israelites in the first place. Okay, that's the only reason why you have the Israelites. Okay, because of those same Christians. But today what you see in those churches, German churches, African churches, I don't know, Mexican churches, okay, it's all the same, because Esau got that oppression system behind those corrupt governments, okay, making it seem as if, okay, you are only a Christian if you go into that building, which basically just tells you lies day in and day out, making you believe that, you know, you just need to say a word and all of a sudden you are saved for no reason whatsoever. Okay, basically doing nothing, okay, just believing in lies, which the Bible gives you a complete different information than what these whorehouses say. Okay, a complete different information. And who is telling you that? It's the elders and apostles of GMS, Great Millstone. Why is that? Because they found out, okay. For example, if you are in a world war and you have a big name in your army, okay, then it is because you have the ability to shine through these lies, okay, through darkness, okay. You are a big problem for the enemy nation if you can leak, for example, a lot of information you know, about them, you know. So of course, you know, don't be deceived, okay, just because people sit down together, okay, like for example America sits down with China, okay, with the Chinese, it doesn't matter, okay. In the background there's always economic, okay, resources war going on, okay. You just have a corrupt small group in the background controlling everything, okay. That's why you know, that's why there's really no reason for those corrupt elites to basically, you know, to invade another country that quick, okay. They do it, but you know, it all comes together in the end into the war of Armageddon, right? Which this proves also that those nations, okay, are not really working perfectly together, okay, because in the end it will be nation against nation. You will see that, okay. Yeah. So what is so special now about the elders and apostles of Great Millstone? Okay, they started early to figure out where the lies are. Okay, this is a lie. This is a lie. This has to be a lie. This is the proof that this has to be a lie. Okay, and that all coming together after that experience that they have, coming together with the dreams and visions. I don't say it this video also, okay, but look how much videos on dreams and visions are uploaded from those same people. Okay, GMS Dreams and Visions, or Strictly Testimonials, I believe is the name. Okay, so then the prophecies, okay, that the elders and apostles brought out about, you know, reincarnated, okay, reincarnation, a big interesting topic in the truth, okay, which even in his children movies, okay, children whatsoever, I don't know, Avatar, okay, you know, different things. Everybody that has some spiritual knowledge, okay, even the heathens, okay, know that there's something called reincarnation, okay. Let me ask you if they teach you something about reincarnation, when even the scripture itself gives you the information, okay, that there has to be something like reincarnation, okay. Yeah, so what are these churches really for? The scripture tells you tells you that the root of all evil is money. Okay, so the only reason really, okay, for your wicked leaders out there is, okay, for those leaders who deceive you, the only reason why they make it seem as they need you or you are a God-believing people by listening to this shit, okay, is to make money out of you, okay? This is the only reason, because if you don't go into these whorehouses, okay, there will be no money for the preacher. It's that simple. Okay, so what are the elders and apostles of GMS known for? Okay, of course I don't want to give my 10th part of my income to some whorehouse out there. Of course I send it to, you know, somebody who is in the truth of the elders and apostles doctrine. Okay, or I put it in my camp from the country where I live in. Okay, where I'm currently not in the same city. Okay, but the changes in the future, right? So I'm not totally stupid. Okay, but we know, okay, that the elders and apostles they don't use that money if they receive that money, okay, to you know, to deceive people, okay, which if you give people, if you give these corrupt church whorehouses, okay, if you give them even more money, they just use that to even more deceive people, okay, IUIC, okay, for example, they don't have the truth, okay, and you see that, you know, let's be honest, some Israelite groups, they at least have some bit of truth, but really you see that there's something corrupting them, which again in nearly all cases has to be money, okay? It's money, which is the source of all evil. You know that, okay? Or you should know that. Verse 13, for the people turn it not unto him that smited them, neither do they seek the Lord of hosts, therefore the Lord will cut off from Israel head and tail, quench and wash in one day. The ancient and honorable, he is the head, and the prophet that teacheth lies, he is the tail. For the leaders of this people cause them to err. Yeah, you have a lot of Israelites, you know, not really investing in coming out of these churches, you know, which I don't mean just, I don't only mean German or African churches. If I use the word churches, I also mean those groups, okay? ISUPK, Sikawi, IUIC not, okay? Okay? All these different groups, okay? Sikh, ARI, IUIC not, okay? ISUP, GAY maybe, who knows, okay? But anal sex, was it ISUPK with the anal sex thing? No, I believe it was, yeah, maybe it was ISUPK, okay? Then maybe you have different other groups, HOI or something, okay? You have random persons thinking that they can create their own church, okay, just making their own doctrine, a little bit from that, a little bit from that, then they, you know, then they then they look for a good YouTube name, okay? So basically the question remains, what is it that you really want to do, or why? Okay, you clearly see that the Bible is all about trying to build a brotherhood, but you know, it doesn't make sense, okay? It doesn't make sense. Okay, you need to make sure, okay, that you are in contact, okay, with people that have the same doctrine as you, not some random doctrine, okay, Even those Israelite groups know that, okay, that there is no, I look for my own truth. Even those, even if they fake, okay, they at least know that, okay. Yeah, man. The ancient and honorable, he is the head, and the prophet that teacheth lies, he is the tail. Thunder, okay, Thunder Israelites, for example, also another group. Okay, I don't know all groups. Okay. Yeah. Verse 17, therefore the Lord shall have no joy in their young men, neither shall have mercy on their fatherless and widows, for everyone is an hypocrite and an evildoer, and every mouth speaketh folly. For all this, his anger is not turned away, but his hand is stretched out still. For wickedness burneth as the fire, it shall devour the briars and thorns, and shall kindle in the thickets of the forest, and they shall mount up like the lifting of smoke. Through the wrath of the Lord of hosts is the land darkened, and the people shall be as the fuel of the fire, no man shall spare his brother. And he shall snatch on the right hand and be hungry, and he shall eat on the left hand, and they shall not be satisfied. They shall eat every man the flesh of his own arm. Manasseh Ephraim, and Ephraim Manasseh, and they together shall be against Judah. For all this his anger is not turned away, but his hand is stretched out still. Yeah, and I already told you that in war, for example, you have a lot of inhabitants in America, for example, a lot of inhabitants in Germany, a lot of inhabitants in Russia, a lot of inhabitants in Syria. It doesn't matter. In war, okay, don't know where you live, but even that mass stupid media shows you, okay, that, for example, if Israel is shooting rockets to Palestine, or if Russia is shooting rockets, missiles into Ukraine, guess what? The more people are killed with one shot, the better. Okay, that's war. Okay, W-A-R, war. Okay, they don't care about how much people. They even want to kill as much people as possible. Okay, and this is what war really means. Okay, you know. So really, without Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, okay, we already would have lost that war, really, you know, because Esau Edom, he has the weapons. Okay, Esau Edom, he has the I don't know, the since Satan came out of prison, you know, which, you know, you can read it in the Bible. Satan loosed out of the prison for 1,000 years. You can read that. Okay, it's not my dogs or something. Okay, yeah, Satan really being let loose here on earth, man. Okay, creating all kind of lies, deception, all kind of nonsense. You go into a museum right now, they show you a plastic ape. Okay, like they really believe they descend from an ape. Okay, like not everything is real what you see. Okay, there's proof that in a lot of these museums they just put some artificial stuff in there. Okay, so you are the idiot, okay, passing a plastic ape, believing that you descend from an ape. Okay, it's not Satan even. Satan just does his job, okay? Deceiving the masses of the people, alright? Making you believe that in a third world where you will survive on your own prepping, okay, or whatsoever, when there's always somebody who is prepping more than you in your neighborhood, okay? Okay? And yeah, but to be honest, okay, everybody is prepping. even Mark Zuckerberg is prepping. Okay, even yeah, everybody is prepping. Okay, trying to protect their beliefs. Okay, and their group basically. Okay. Chapter 10, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that right curiousness which they have prescribed, turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless. And what will ye do in the day of visitation and in the desolation which shall come from far? To whom will ye flee for help, and where will ye leave your glory? Without me they shall bow down under the prisoners, and they shall fall under the slain. For all this his anger is not turned away, but his hand is stretched out still. Yeah, think about prison. If you one of those who thinks, this is a lonely wolf thing that you see in the scriptures, which doesn't make sense. Even Paul was not alone because he tried to be alone. Okay, it was more like Satan hindered him oftentimes, or basically every time, and he, it's what in the end he was not alone. Okay, but think about a prison. Okay, in every movie, even documentaries, even if you just, think about a prison. What happens in a prison system? Okay, if you somewhat have any sort of morals, any basic morals, okay, because you will have some complete freaks. Of course, they will be alone. Okay, but let's be honest. And they don't, for coincidence, say in prison you always go to your group of people, right? So if you are a Hitler Youth dude, and you are in prison now, what most likely will happen, you will not join to the Syrians or the Turks, for example. You will most likely join to people that look like you, okay, that maybe have also Hitler Youth family member, okay. It's kind of like a basic example, but just look at a documentary or a movie about prisons. Okay, in the prison, let's be honest, there is something that should show you at least, okay, that there's always some advantage in groups, okay, which, like I said, as a maybe as a Turkish dude, okay, or Muslim dude, you will not join a group of 5 Hitler Youth dudes with blue eyes in the prison who actually really behave a little bit like they have some problem with everybody that doesn't look like them. Okay, it might be, who knows. Okay, but you will most likely join not the exact thing what you believed before you was actually before you ended in prison. Without me they shall bow down under the prisoners, and they shall fall under the slain. For all this his anger is not turned away, but his hand is stretched out still. O Assyrian, the rod of mine anger and the staff in their hand is mine indignation. I will send him against an hypocritical nation, and against the people of my wrath will I give him a charge to take the spoil, and to take the prey, and to tread them down like the mire of the streets. Howbeit he meaneth not so, neither doeth his heart think so, but it is in his heart to destroy and cut off nations, not a few. For he said, are not my princes altogether kings? Is not Calno as Carchemish? Is not Hanet as Arpad? is not Samaria as Damascus, as my hand had found the kingdoms of the idols, and whose graven images did excel them of Jerusalem and of Samaria? Shall I not, as I have done unto Samaria and her idols, so do to Jerusalem and her idols? Wherefore it shall come to pass that when the Lord hath performed his whole work upon Mount Zion and on Jerusalem, I will punish the fruit of the stout heart of the king of Assyria and the glory of his high looks. For he said, by the strength of my hand I have done it, and by my wisdom. For I am prudent, and I have removed the bounds of the people, and have robbed their treasures, and I have put down the inhabitants like a valiant man. And my hand had found as a nest the riches of the people. And as one gathered eggs that are left, have I gathered all the people, and there was none that moved a wing, or opened the mouth, or peeped. Shall the axe boast itself against him that heweth therewith, or shall the saw magnify itself against him that shaketh it? As if the rod should shake itself against them that lift it up, or as the staff should lift up itself as if it were no wood. Therefore shall the Lord of hosts, send among his fat ones leanness, and under his glory he shall kindle a burning like the burning of a fire. And the light of Israel shall be for a fire, and his Holy One for a flame, and it shall burn and devour his thorns and his briars in one day, and shall consume the glory of his forest and of his fruitful field, both soul and body, and they shall be as when a standard bearer fainted. And the rest of the trees of his forest shall be few, that a child may write them. And it shall come to pass, verse 20, in that day, that the remnant of Israel, and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob, shall no more again stay upon him that smote them, but shall stay upon the Lord, the Holy One of Israel, in truth. You see? So that proves that there's hope for Israel in the end. The remnant shall return, even the remnant of Jacob, unto the mighty God. For thy people Israel be as the sand of the sea, yet a remnant of them shall return the consumption. The greed shall overflow with righteousness, for the Lord God of hosts shall make a consumption even determined in the midst of all the land. Yeah, and in most Israelites you will, or GMS members, you will have that in America, which you have not a lot of people in the truth in Germany. Okay, you will not have a lot of people in the truth in I don't know. Okay, Denmark, Finland, Italy, the Spanish people. Okay, Spain. Okay, you will not have a lot of people in the truth in Hawaii, but maybe there are a little bit more. Okay, but most truth seekers are in America. Okay, which America is really a beautiful continent, right? But like the real ones of that continent, they will make it out of there, man. Okay, and everybody else who is consumed in the fire doesn't deserve it different. Okay, okay. Yeah, and for some people here on this planet Earth, it's even better to die than to continue at some point in time in this world war that is about to happen soon. Okay? Trust me, Yahweh Shem Shai takes some of you people out, so you have even sometimes a better situation, Some, okay? Like, it's all, in the end, everybody deserves what he deserves, doesn't matter what it is the perfect living your judgment here on in 2025 and the future. Okay? Women shall return. Yeah, women. I just showed you what 144,000 compared to milliards of people world's population is. Okay, that is actually, that is not a heavy number. Okay, 144,000 men is not a big number. Okay, Hebrew Israelite woman and child from the One Dirt Israel team is sticking to one of this, to one man of those 144,000. Okay, so that together might be a bigger number, but it's still, compared to the world's population, as you can imagine, not a big number, if you will. Is that a bad thing? No. The Bible already tells you, even about Israel in the first place, he was not choosing Israel because we are a big nation. Okay? It is what it is, Like, yeah. Like, for example, if you have a favorite car, your favorite car from the outside, from the look, is your favorite car because it's your favorite car. Okay, from the look, not that it's about look, you know what I mean. Okay, you maybe like the details besides the look of the car. Hopefully, it doesn't make sense maybe to, I don't know, I wouldn't do so. Okay, I also would at least think about what the car, if I sit in that car, okay, I don't want to have it, like it drives like shit. Okay, it doesn't make sense. Okay, so of course that maybe plays into what you think is your favorite car. Okay. So I even have favorite women in my life. Okay, not that I have contact with all those women, but I have favorite women in my life. Okay, so that is yeah. Okay. For example, I have two favorite women that I don't even have contact with in the moment. That's just how it is. Okay? Maybe because of me, but who cares? I don't have contact with them at the moment. Okay? It's not just me. Okay? I think one it's not me, and the other one I but it is how it is, and the only thing that should not leave you is the truth. Doesn't matter doesn't matter where it ends for you. The truth should be your your main woman. Okay, your most favorite woman should be the truth, not an actual woman. Okay. Yeah, but yeah, the one woman is even more my favorite woman. Okay, the one woman is even more my favorite woman. It just happened that I all these years in my life that she was around. She was around in my life. Just like the truth, okay, always around, being important to me, okay. So it was in the end not the look, because really, according to her look, it's not the main, maybe not the main type, okay. Her look, it's maybe not the main type, but the story behind her, the story behind that woman, makes her really attractive to me, right? For some reason. Okay, and I think it's the same thing with the truth. Okay, the truth should be not you shouldn't be in the truth because you can drive a Ferrari. Okay, you can drive a Ferrari now because you made it. Okay, you are seeking the truth. Now you found the truth, and now you know, now on the next day you can drive a Lambo, right? Because you are an Israelite in the truth, right? So you are a king, you are king, No, that is not the first reason. The first reason why you should be in the truth is because you know the absurdity of important things that are behind those facts that we understand and learn through the elders and apostles. The absurdity amount of important things that, to be honest, can only have to do with the truth. Okay, the Israelites being a completely a nation, okay, where even the identity of the Israelites was stolen. You have to think about the amount of judgment we had to go through. Okay, so fuck these heathens, man. They saw nothing. Okay, they saw nothing. Okay. Yeah. And why? Because he, okay, hides all the stuff that even adds to the whole problem. He's just hiding stuff. Okay. So really, there will be no mass revelation. Okay, the only revelation what you people will get is, okay, mass violence through this Third World War, and then everybody will see that the Israelites were indeed, in fact, the Israelites were indeed, in fact, okay, a nation which doesn't even have an identity at the moment. Okay, really lost in the south, man. Okay, so these heathens, okay, think that Esau Edom is a god or something. Okay, but okay, if he is a god, then I want to see that he can prevent World War III from happening. Okay, if he can do that, then he is a god. If not, he is not a god. Okay, so with that, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem Yahushai, Ba'Hashem HaKadosh, and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Okay, the gods, so to speak, okay, will be in rulership, okay, which is Yahweh Shai, and then King David, and then you have the 12 tribes, the elders, and so on. So it's not about basically that all flesh will be killed, No, in World War III, okay, we will see that World War III was always there, okay, it was basically in the background, So now it will be on the surface, okay, soon, So with that, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem Yahushai, Ba'Hashem HaKadosh, okay. So Esau Edom is not a god, okay, he just hides information from you. That's it. Shalom.